Breaking news! Something is happening in Baltimore, and it's bigger than just one game. The return of a superstar, a sudden shift in defensive philosophy, and a primetime battle that could rewrite the narrative of the entire season. But what's really going on behind the scenes? What did the Ravens discover last week that could change everything going forward? Believe me, what you're about to hear might surprise you. But before we get into that, don't forget to like this post if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you want, comment "Go Ravens" to show your purple pride in the chat. Let's get right into it. For the first time since that nail-biter in Week 4 against the Kansas City Chiefs, Lamar Jackson is officially back under center. And this isn't just another start, it's a statement. This is QB1 returning at full health, and there's no denying what Lamar brings when he's locked in. The truth? When he's at his best, Lamar Jackson is the most dangerous player in the National Football League. Not just because of his arm, not just because of his legs, but because of the way he completely alters defensive schemes and momentum by simply stepping on the field. Tyler Huntley did what he needed to do in Jackson's absence. He showed poise, command, and grit. But now, it's Lamar's time to remind everyone why this team rises and falls on his shoulders. And with the Dolphins coming to town, there couldn't be a better moment for a resurgence. But this team's success isn't solely on Lamar. Not anymore. And that brings us to the real engine behind the Ravens' potential turnaround, Kyle Hamilton. The defensive chess piece that Zach has finally decided to unleash. Against the Bears, we witnessed something special. Hamilton was used predominantly in the box, 61.3% of his defensive snaps. That was the highest rate since Week 8 of 2022. The results? Spectacular. This wasn't just about Hamilton being everywhere, it was about letting him be everywhere. Whether it was against the run, in coverage, or even sent in as a pass rusher, Hamilton made an impact. 10 pass rush snaps, 2 pressures, 1 QB hit. The man was a wrecking ball, and the addition of Alohi Gilman has quietly enabled this transformation. Gilman's presence has provided just enough back-end stability for Hamilton to roam free like the hybrid beast he is. And here's the real question: why did it take this long? Fans and analysts alike have been screaming for this kind of usage since last season. Early on, this defense was underwhelming, but once Hamilton is allowed to dictate tempo and chaos, everything changes. Tonight, if he lets him cook again, Miami's high-octane offense may be in for a long night. Now, let's talk offense, specifically the run game. It's time to stop playing games and start pounding the rock like it's 2003. Derrick Henry has looked more and more like vintage Henry in the last 2 outings: 45 carries, 193 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. No fumbles. That's the bruising, methodical running style this team has been missing. But it doesn't end there. Keaton Mitchell is quietly becoming the secret weapon. Last Sunday, just 4 carries, but 43 yards. That's 10.8 yards per touch. He's explosive, shifty, and fearless. Even 5 carries a game can be enough to break one loose and change the flow of a drive. And let's not forget Justice Hill, who adds yet another layer to this running attack. When you combine these 3 backs, you have a trio that Miami's porous run defense may not be ready for. Yes, they held Bijan Robinson to just 25 yards, but he only got the ball 9 times. 9! That's not a defensive win, that's an offensive misfire. Miami ranks 5th worst in rushing yards allowed per game and 3rd worst in yards per carry. They've allowed 35 runs of 10-plus yards this season. That's not just bad, it's exploitable. And Baltimore needs to exploit it. Then there's the turnover battle. The Ravens are 2-0 when they win the turnover differential, 0-5 when they lose it. That's not a coincidence. It's a fundamental truth about how this team plays. They don't need help from their own mistakes. They can't afford to hand over free possessions, especially to a team like Miami, which thrives on short fields and explosive plays. We saw it against Chicago. A key interception flipped momentum and led to crucial points. That's the formula. That's what needs to happen again tonight. But the biggest concern? Devin Achane. This guy is dangerous. Maybe the most dangerous player Miami has. As a runner, explosive. As a pass catcher, lethal. He's averaging 5 yards per carry, 3 rushing TDs, and has already racked up 37 receptions for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns through the air. That's second best receiving production on Baltimore's entire roster. If he gets loose, if he finds rhythm with Tua Tagovailoa, it could be trouble. Let's pick up right where we left off, because this next part isn't just about players or stats. It's about mentality. It's about what separates playoff caliber teams from championship teams. And if the Baltimore Ravens are serious about being in that second group, it's time to prove it, starting with this Dolphins matchup. We've talked about the keys, the run game, Lamar's return, Kyle Hamilton's unleashed potential, but let's get brutally honest, None of it matters if this team continues to show flashes instead of fire. That inconsistency has been the Achilles heel. Against Detroit, dominant. Against Buffalo, collapsed. The difference isn't talent, it's execution. And that's why the 60 minutes mantra isn't just coach speak, it's survival. Let's take a closer look at why this game is so important. Because beyond the obvious playoff implications, beyond the AFC seeding jostle, this game is a mirror. A mirror that will show exactly who the Ravens are. You want national respect? Beat a high-flying offense on primetime. You want to be seen as a Super Bowl threat? Handle business against a team with one of the most dynamic offensive rosters in football. And make no mistake, Miami's offense can be explosive. Tua Tagovailoa, when he gets into rhythm, is surgical. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill force secondaries to stretch thin. But here's the difference now. This Ravens secondary isn't the same group that stumbled early in the season. Marcus Williams is healthier, Brandon Stevens has played lights-out football in coverage, and Nate Wiggins, that interception against Chicago wasn't just a highlight, it was a shift in tone. He saw a mistake, jumped it, and changed the game. That's the kind of opportunistic football that Baltimore needs more of. And while we're at it, let's address the coaching. Because, yes, there have been valid criticisms. Fans have questioned John Harbaugh's game management, questioned Zach Orr's early season defensive scheme. But recently, Orr has made massive adjustments, letting Hamilton off the leash, getting creative with pressure, trusting young playmakers. That's coaching growth in real time. Now it's about consistency. What about offense? What about the rhythm of this group when Lamar is in control? Well, the weapons are there. Zay Flowers has emerged as a legitimate WR1 threat. His route running, his burst, his ability to separate, those are traits that show up week after week. Add in the steady reliability of Rashad Bateman and the security blanket of Mark Andrews when healthy, and Lamar's arsenal suddenly looks deep. And then there's Odell Beckham Jr., who hasn't had a monster stat line but has made clutch catches and drawn key coverages to open up others. What this team needs is offensive identity, and the blueprint is right in front of them. Run the ball to set the tone, let Lamar do damage through play action and movement, and lean on a defense that's finally starting to impose its will. Let's not forget what happened the last time these teams met. Miami pulled off a comeback that haunted the Ravens for weeks. It was one of those games where the lead vanished, the momentum flipped, and the defense fell apart late. That memory should fuel this Ravens team. This is personal. It's not just a game, it's a response. And maybe that's what fans need to see more than anything tonight. Not just the playbook being executed, but the emotion behind it. The urgency, the edge, the desire to crush, not coast. If the Ravens are up by a touchdown in the fourth quarter, will they keep pressing? Or will they retreat like they have in the past? If the defense needs one stop, can they create chaos or just hope for a mistake? Those are the answers that will define this team in 2025 and beyond. My eyes are on three players tonight. Lamar Jackson, for how he commands this offense and responds to pressure. Kyle Hamilton, for how many different ways he'll be used and how he affects Tua's timing. And Keaton Mitchell, for whether the coaching staff gives him the touches he's earned. Because he's not just a change of pace back, he might be the spark plug this offense needs to reach another gear. So here we are. It's Ravens versus Dolphins. Not just a test, but a statement game. Win this, and suddenly you're not just in the AFC race, you might be leading it. If you believe in this team, if you think this is the game where Baltimore silences the doubts, let me know in the comments. And if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button, like the video, share it with another Ravens fan, and keep it locked right here. Another video is already waiting on your screen, so click and dive even deeper into what's next for the Ravens.